Hey, my name is PolishLynx. Welcome to another episode of this irae. And well, here we go, the rest of the day. Let's see where this is going, if anything is going to happen, and so on, and well, yeah. Contrary to my mood, class today ended without incident. Classmates around me were getting up from their desk, ready to head home, while chatting about things of little consequence. Doesn't look like they'll be suspending school after I think club race will start back up soon. Not until they catch the killer, but I think they're still in the city. Don't know, but why did they suddenly stop killing? Hey, if I know, but they might not be able to hold themselves back for much longer, if that's what they're doing. Like maybe they're about to blow. Wow, that's scary. Let's carry on home. They were right on the count. Not the whole killing part, but rather that I was reaching my mental limit. It had only been about a week since the killing stopped, but the murder was taking 2 victims per day up until then, so those girls' prediction probably wasn't off. Everyone else had been thinking the same thing. The killer is gone, or maybe we'll return and kill even more people per day than before. Unfortunately, I knew very well that the former was unlikely. The killer was in the city. He was holding his breath, restraining his impulses, disguising himself as an ordinary citizen, holding himself back even at this very moment as he. I muttered a brief phrase of self-depreciation. I'd been having all these worthless thoughts ingrained in me thanks to my talk with the Rusalka earlier. Once you eliminated the impossible, whatever remained, no matter how improbable, must be truth. Rusalka's words. It was too sound of an argument for me to refute it. However, it would have been too much of a problem to simply admit it was correct. First of all, I simply didn't want to really agree to what she told me. Ouch. From an outsider's perspective, it might have looked like I was bullying her, but I'd never been one to care about appearances to begin with. I wouldn't be able to remain calm otherwise. I sent her a glare that conveyed that very sentiment, but Rusalka responded with a laugh like it didn't concern her. I couldn't believe that girl. Just then, rescue arrived from an unexpected source as Sakurai took control of the grumbling Rusalka. About?
拗ねてもダメ。それから、あんまり子供っぽいこと言ってると、余計に嫌われるだけなんじゃない？
Maybe. Who knows?
じゃあなに？レイ君は大人っぽい子が好きなわけ？
Yes.
俺の好みなんかどうでもいいだろ。さっさとどっか行ってくれ。
そう。じゃあ私たちは失礼するけど、藤井君も。
Turning back to me, Sakurai made the throne.
なんだよ。
She then gave me one hell of a glare. I began instinctively backing up, but...
綾瀬さん、藤井君の顔色が良くない。見てあげて。
私？
そう。友達なんでしょ？彼、なんだか今にも倒れそうよ。
Kasumi looked at me with a startled expression. She would always come over to me if no one called her, so what was she doing now? She hadn't even gotten ready to go home yet.
私たちは帰るから、あとお願いね。
ありがとう、桜井さん。
どういたしまして。それじゃあ、行くわよ、シュベーゲリ。
なんか私だけ蚊帳の外。
For she settled it, Rusalka proceeded to leave the classroom at Sakurai's urging. Once I confirmed that they were gone, I breathed a mental sigh of relief. I don't know what Sakurai was thinking, but I'd been safe for now. That's it.
レン、大丈
How was I supposed to deal with her?
夫？なんか本当に顔色悪いね。ごめん、私気づかなくて。
いいよ、別に。実際大したことじゃない。
でも、
大丈夫。
I wasn't like some old man who'd collapse in a heap from not getting enough sleep for a mere 7 days. I responded to Kasumi in the most cheerful tone I could master.
それよりお前、今日も剣のお稽古なんだろ？付き合うから早く支度しろよ。
うん。だけど、あんたは先に帰った方がいいんじゃない？寝ないとダメだよ。
It'd be worse if I fell asleep. I honestly couldn't say that for. I was grateful that she worried about me. And the fault lay with me for letting my exhaustion show, but I had to get my way here. If I couldn't rest in a way, it was better to be with Kasumi than to go home to an empty apartment. Ultimately, I did feel pathetic about it, but what could you do? I felt much more at ease with her around.
ボディーガードなしで帰るなんて、そんな怖いことできないな。しっかり守ってくれなきゃ困る。
私真面目に言ってるのに。
俺も真面目に言ってるんだけどな。
どこがよ。もう嘘ばっかり。いいわよ。わかった。わかりましたよ。あんたがそんな感じなら、本当は稽古中止にしたいんだけど。
習慣なんだろ。続けた方がいい。
そう言うと思ったから困ってるんじゃない。私も今日はサボりたくないし。
I was going to drop a line about how truly diligent she was, but I stopped myself. There was no need to mock her.
じゃあ、なるべく早いとこ済ませてくれよ。
偉そうに言わないでよね、この不健康児が。
And with that exchange out of the way, we finally left the classroom. To get to the dojo? No, you can't really call it a dojo, right? In the school. Gym, I guess. I watched over Kasumi's practice session as I'd always had. But today, she was putting more spirit than usual, exuding a somewhat blood-curdling aura. I usually just sat down and wounded off as I watched her. All thoughts of sleep left me in the face of the drive. Before I knew it, I was watching her practice in a state of wave. I had to revise my opinion. She really was serious about this. I found it impressive enough that she trained herself every day without a break, but there was also that earnestness of hers. Also, I could have never done that. I wasn't particularly fickle with things, but for the longest time now, I'd had this habit of never putting any real effort into anything I did, and now it was too late for me to find something I could genuinely be serious about. When you did everything such a wishy-washy, half-assed way, even the flow of time would want to take a break and slow down. Or so I thought. That prolonged day-to-day life was initially shattered by Shiro, and now by those freaks. This was pointless. Thinking about all that now wouldn't change a thing. I slammed my head in the wall as I sat cross-legged in the corner of the dojo. So you can after all call it a dojo, making sure I was quiet enough not to disrupt practice. For I still doubt you can call it a dojo if it's in the school. Well, whatever. Never mind. It's a dojo. Let's say it's a dojo. I seriously had to get over this terrible habit of trying to instantly remember the most useless of things. Otherwise, I'd fall into a cycle of self-loathing and turn to a pessimistic mess. If I could just neatly and nicely chuck all my pain worries out the window. That'd be nice and all, but I knew full well that I couldn't do that, which was why I kept worrying and suffering. I wondered if Kasumi had to deal with things like that too. Despite her short temper, simplicity, liveliness, and questionable femininity, okay, that's... Nope, it wasn't there, okay? It's not questionable. I knew she had an apparently delicate side to her. Or at least, I tried to keep it in mind. I mean, we'd know each other a long time and everything. So perhaps all this practicing was a coping mechanism for that. Like a ceremony she conducted to quell her raging heart? I took in Kasumi's breathing. She breathed in, then out, inhaling another deep breath. The sheer ferocity of her strength was clear and evident to even a complete amateur like myself, causing me to tense up all over. Not bad, Kasumi, that was cool. I would normally make a quip like that, but Kasumi looked extremely serious as she readjusted for another strike. I'd probably be risking my life by teasing her at a moment like this. Seemed like she was gonna keep on going, but I found myself getting a little doubtful as I took note of how strained her face looked.
こいつ、いくらなんでもマジすぎないか。
No point in training if one was just gonna slack off, that much I agreed with. Taking it seriously was fine and all, but this felt entirely too violent. The technique she just pulled off was indeed amazing, so good that if it was a picture you'd want to frame it and hang up it on the wall, out of the title Killing Blow. In other words, to use a cliché expression, she was frenzied. She was swinging her bamboo sword with the intent of killing her imaginary opponent. At least it looked that way to me.
Kasumi? おい。
Kasumi made no swear. I couldn't tell if she was ignoring me or if she was just too absorbed in her practice. I didn't get it. It was Kasumi herself who once told me that a blade could not only kill a foe, it would also save a life. She explained that Kendo's history of teaching techniques to murder people ended with the westernization movement in the Meiji era. From then on, Kendo was taught not about how to kill, but how to keep others alive. Wasn't Kasumi the ace disciple who, while smiling ear to ear, told me all about how a sword was meant for protecting others? Hell, hearing it even made me embarrassed, so what in the world was she doing now? For a moment I couldn't have sworn I spotted Kasumi's lips sliding into a sinister grin. My heart suddenly sprang up for no reason.
Kasumi.
A single swing from Kasumi shattered training dummy to splinters. I couldn't believe my eyes. She'd blown and mounted an armored training dummy from its pedestal clear to the other end of the dojo. There was no technique or skill to the act. It was a blow encompassing all her might, as well as a strike of racing bottle off with her strength. Holy shit, what the hell was that?
おい
I heard over to Kasumi.
お前、いきなり何やってんだよ
I grabbed her by her shoulders, giving them a quick shake. She made no answer and was clearly spacing out, but after a few moments light finally returned to her eyes.
レン何よいきなり。
何よって、お前。
That strike of hers bent the bamboo sword right near the middle. Not even an adult male could have pulled that off.
どうしたのよ変な顔して。私が何か。
Judging from her reaction, she did not seem to be aware of her own actions, so I hesitated over whether or not to tell her. I couldn't exactly hide it from her either. Kasumi found herself at a loss of words as she raised that bent bamboo sword in her hand up to her eyes.
私、これ、私が。
I didn't answer.
とりあえず手離せ。こんなの握ってると怪我する。それから、片付けは俺がしとくから着替えてこいよ。帰ろうぜ。
でも。
かすみ。
I knew it was kinda like me, but I gently gave Kasumi's hair a light ruffle.
俺、腹減ってんだよ。早く帰って何か食わないと死ぬ。な。
After I pried her fingers off the handle of her bamboo sword, Kasumi gave me a feeble nod and hurried off into the changing room. I was confused. What was that?
まあ、女には、そういう日もあるみたいだし。
Okay. Ultimately, that stupid remark did nothing to clear the oppressive atmosphere within the dojo. Oh my god.
お疲れ。
I wordlessly took Kasumi's bag after treating her to a soda.
何すんのよ。
荷物持ち。やってやるから、いつまでもしょぼくれるなよ。気持ち悪い。
ありがとう。でもいいよ。体調良くないんでしょ。
今のお前よりかマシだ。
私は別に、そんなわけじゃ。
だったらちゃんとしろよ。ほら。
I then gave her a slap on the butt with her back, to basically no reaction. She definitely wasn't in the right mind.
帰ろうぜ。
And without further conversation, we headed on home. Kasumi remained unusually quiet. She responded when prompted, but I couldn't tell if she was listening or not, as she only gave half-hearted replies. Man, I can't quite get honor students like her. Think she would get this upset over breaking only one piece of school equipment. I figured it was best to just conveniently forget the extraordinary circumstances of the dummy's destruction. Regardless of how it happened, this was ultimately not a big deal. The question was, how could I get that across to her?
なあ、去年プールの女子シャワー室がぶっ壊れたの覚えてる？
何よ、いきなり。
だから、女子シャワー室、水が出なくなったことあったよな。
あったような気がするけど。
あれ、俺のせい。
は？
正確にはシローのせいっていうか、とにかく原因はあいつなんだけど、やったのは俺。我ながらうまく隠蔽したんだけど、バレちゃったな。内緒にしとけよ。
つまり何が言いたいのよ。
お前、右の胸にほくろあるよな。
Looks like I just blew her mind.
いや、シローのやつがな、言ったんだよ。某占いによると、胸にほくろのある女が俺にとって一生の、っていうか、とにかくそういうのになるって。俺はそういうのを信じないから、そんな奴が都合よくいるはずないって言ったら、じゃあかけようかってことになって。次の体育の時間、二人で天井裏から忍び込んだっていうオチだ。1万円かけてたんだよ、あの勝負。身近にそういう女がいるかいないか。だっていうのに、まったく。
I looked up in the air in mock exasperation, flicked the paralyzed Kasumi's right breast, and went on.
つけてんじゃねえよ、このバカ。俺の1万円返してくれ。
Uh-oh.
さあ、とっとと帰ろうか。
Yeah.
ちょっとあんた待ちなさい。
Run for your life, dude.
何じゃ何あんたら二人して私の着替え覗いてたって嫌がるわけ？
いや、別に、お前に焦点を絞ってたわけじゃないぞ。
はっきりして。
Facts were facts.
あ、覗いてた。
このド変態が
Told you to run. After reclaiming her back, Kasumi mercilessly delivered one hell of a hit.
お前、角で殴るな。鼻血出てるぞ。
やかましいわね、この変態。何私の知らないところでバカぶっちぎりの勝負してくれてんのよ。
落ち着け、ほくろ。
誰がほくろよ。私のおっぱいに何か文句があるっての？
Not really, no.
俺は1万円の損害を被ったんだ。
うるさい、黙れ。シロはともかく、あんたはそんなことしないやつだと思ってたのに。
だってあいつが挑発するから。
あんな高速バカの口車になんかはいはい乗るな。もうバカバカバカバカバカ大体なんでよ。
はい？
だからなんであのバカ急にそんなことを言い出したのよ。
知らん。
The guy's fault had always existed on another dimensional plane ever since we were kids.
ただ単に俺をからかいたかっただけじゃないのか？もしくは金がなかったか？
どういう意味よ。
だからイカサマだったんだよ。あいつ前から知ってたんだ。ガキの頃、俺たち何度か一緒に風呂入ったことがあったよな。あいつ、その時のこと覚えてただけなんだよ。金渡してからそう言いやがった。
Thanks to that, I ended up getting a little pissed off, and in my rage, I accidentally broke one of the valves, which ended up stopping the water. Kasumi heaved large breaths, no doubt exhausted from swinging her back around so much. After approaching her, I delivered another flick.
何よ、変態。
けど、そう考えると不公平だな。
はあ？
俺が忘れたっていうのに、あいつだけ覚えてるってのは、なんかこう。お前、この際だから、 もう一回俺と入ろうぜ。
Oh my god! That's genius! What a genius!
あんた、いきなり何言い出すのよ。
嫌なのか？
いや、別にそんなわけじゃなくて、ね。だって、本当に子供の頃だし、私もよく覚えてないし、今更言われても、ほら、困るし。
ちょっと傷つくな。
Ren Sensei, teach me.
だから、なんで急にそんなこと言い出すのよ。
No, but seriously, he's a genius.
昔とは違うんだから、私も恥ずかしいし。
She began muttering something or other about how she was not ready for this yet.
別に白がどうとかそういうことじゃないんだよ。今更お風呂とか言われても昔みたいにやっぱりさ、だから嫌がってるとかそういうのとは違くて、どっちかというと嬉しくなかったりしないこともないなんて思わないこともなかったりするような気がしないでもないんだけど。
Whoa. It's like, really, she's talking like someone is shooting from a machine gun. Damn it, so fast.
やっぱり今からすぐとか言われたら困っちゃうっていうか、ね、わかるでしょっていうかわかってよ。レン？ねえ、聞いてる？
かすみ。
何よ。
After placing my hands firmly on her shoulders, I went on in a calm tone.
お前さ、やっぱりすごい単純だよな。
ってあんた！
今度から単純キングと呼ばせてよ。
Well, at least she was back to being her cheerful self for now. She whacked me with her back, then delivered both kicks and punches. With this much power, maybe she could break another training dummy or two. I figured that was the best way to sum it up for now.
で、なんで公園なんかに来てんだよ。
We went back home for a moment, but Kasumi immediately dragged me out and took me around the city. What was she up to? Now, taking me to a dinner because she said cooking would be a pain I could still get. The problem came after that. She took me all around to the clothes store, shoe store, arcade, karaoke, bar, and a bunch of other places. Sure, I decided to go along with it and didn't even feel like grumbling, but I just couldn't make heads or tails of the situation. Because this was basically like a date. This wasn't the first time we'd done something similar, but why now of all times? Why not?
疲れた？
結構な。
My voice reflected those words. I carried a whole bunch of shopping bags in my hands. Why would she walk around town so leisurely during these times for? There was a limit to how reckless one could be. Most of the signs I'd been letting out were aimed towards myself. Judging from how Rusalka acted earlier, there seemed to be no immediate danger, but I would still be hard-pressed to call this a smart move.
買いすぎだろこれ。生活費とか大丈夫か？
平気っていうか気にしない。ストレス解消しなくちゃね。
俺のストレスは？
今日は荷物持ちじゃなかったの？
Well, yeah, I suppose I did, but...
きついならちょっとだけ休憩していく？
いや、それは。
The sun had completely set in the time we'd been walking around to the point where it was already pitch black around us. I checked my watch to find that it was 7:50 p.m., 10 minutes to 8. Well, for me it's 2 minutes to 2 a.m. But doesn't matter, right? It wasn't particularly late just yet. I agree, but we were getting there. This place was normally packed with couples, but right now, we could only spot 3 or 4 other pairs aside from us.
何よね、そわそわして。もしかすると怖がったりしてる？
なんでだよ。
本当に？なんか態度変くない？
Crap. Why was she only perceptive at weird times like this?
大丈夫だって。他にも人結構いるし、いざとなったら私が守るし。本当は誰もいないと思ってたんだけどね。だからほら、休憩休憩。
Well, we're in a view of other people, so... I figured it would be fine. My nerves had been wearing out over the past few days, and leaving Kasumi dragged me around town exhausted me physically as well. If it was only for a little bit, then I suppose a quick 15 minutes couldn't hurt. If I had to rush us back home, she'd get suspicious.
わかったよ。
Once I finished worrying it over, I sat down on a bench, trying to endure the ominous chill rushing down my spine. I made an effort to talk as carefreely as possible in order to hide it.
最近事件がなかったし、楽観主義のやつも結構いるみたいだな。
私みたいな。
あ、お前筆頭。で、それより、誰もいなかったらなんかあるのか？
何もないけど、他に人がいると恥ずかしいじゃない。
そうか？
It wasn't like we were doing anything embarrassing. At least at this moment. Well, maybe not us. Couldn't say the same for the others here.
うわ、すごっ！
お前はお前で何覗きやってんだよ。
だって、目に入っちゃうんだからしょうがないじゃない。
だったらこっち来いよ。そんなとこに一人でいるから余計なものが目に入る。
余計ってことはないんじゃない？一応みんな真剣なんだろうし。
俺らには関係ないことだろう。
In the end, they were just strangers. I thought I was still staying on the bench, paying me no heed whatsoever. Kasumi kept looking around restlessly.
見てあれ、始まっちゃったよ。
あ
ダメ、見ちゃダメ。
あ、どっちなんだよ。
だから、
Kasumi looked at me all bashful and fidgety, her cheeks flushing red. It was totally unlike her.
隣、座っていい？ね
まあ、変なことしないんなら。
え、何を変なことって、失礼ね。
そういうことだよ。
She began swinging her back and shouting, "Good job, King simple-minded."
こっぱずかしいんならさっさと座れよ。その代わり、暴力禁止な。
あんたが余計なこと言わない限りしないわよ。
じゃあ黙っとく。
いいや、それもダメ。
Kasumi smiled widely and sat down next to me.
さっきはごめんね、いろいろと。
Honestly, I didn't really know what she was apologizing for. Probably the whole dojo incident.
私がやったのに片付けとかさせちゃって、変な気とかも使わせちゃって、こんな時間まで無理に付き合わせたりしちゃったりして。なんか今日、レンに甘えてばっかりだね。呆れてない？
別に。いつも呆れてるし。それに、最初の2つはどうでもいいだろう。お前掃除下手だから片付けなんかさせられないし、次のも別に気使ったわけじゃないし。まあ、最後のだけはちょっとだけ勘弁してほしいんだけど。
ああ、ひどいな。私としては、むしろそこだけ多めに見てほしいんだけど。
現在進行中なのにか？
現在進行中だからこそなの。
Kasumi then grabbed hold of my hand and gently placed something to my palm. I heard the clinking of chain, something hard to detach. What was this?
プレゼント。迷惑かけたお詫びも兼ねてね。
Hmm?
どうこれ、気に入ってくれたかな？
What? But why? In my palm rested a silver choker, but the design felt a bit unusual.
これ、俺に？
きっと似合うよ。露店で見つけたとき、ビビってきたから。
お前に来てもしょうがないと思うんだけど。
But it was a pretty nice gift, honestly. Yeah, I like it too, but
まあ、ちょっとだけね。
it probably cost somewhere between 20 to 30,000 yen. I felt kinda bad for getting something like this when it wasn't even my birthday.
早めのクリスマスプレゼントだとでも思ってよ。気にしちゃうんならお返しくれればいいから。
わかった。
Come to think of it, Sister Lisa said that Himura's birthday was on Christmas. There was still another 2 weeks off, but we'd have to buy her a gift together beforehand. I was broke for.
とりあえず、ありがとな。なるべくつけるようにする。
今つけなさいよ。
Kasumi wrapped her hands around my neck while holding the choker.
私がつけてあげるね。
Well, whatever.
あれこのちょっと動かないでね。あれおかしいな。これどうなって。
She was so clumsy.
あいた、お前、髪の毛巻き込んでる。
ごめん。でも動いちゃダメ。
It would hurt like hell if she tore my hair, and if I were to move my head down, then me and Kasumi's cheeks would be right on top of each other. Do it! Do it now!
ドアップ、かわいいね。なんでそんなに嫌そうな顔するかな。
男に可愛いは禁句なんだよ。
そうなの？でも事実じゃん。
くどいな、お前も。
Sometimes I wondered if the creatures known as Omen knew any adjective apart from cute. Adjectives. How much longer was she gonna waste on trying to put a simple choker on me?
なんかいいね、こういうのも。
On top of that, she was staring right at my face.
その目、ムカつくから閉じろよ。
やだ。目が閉じたら？
絶対嫌だ。
どうしてよ。
身の危険を感じる。
いたずらとかしないからさ。
それ 100% 嘘だろ。
Wait a second.
お前ちょっと今日おかしいぞ。何かあったか？
実は2日目なのですよ。
So he was spot on.
アホか。
アホって何よ。本当のことなのに。
本当ならなおさらそんなの公言するなよ。年頃の乙女が。
おさんくさ。
と思ったけど、やっぱりいいわ。乙女じゃないし。
何？
Man, we're not getting anywhere, no matter how long this went on. As Kasumi emerged by the water, I pressed down her hands from off and set the choker myself.
ケチ。
お前、やっぱりわざとやってただろ。
Taking it slow. What in the world was she thinking?
でもそれ、やっぱり似合うよ。
そうか？
そうなの。似合わないものをプレゼントするほど、私センス悪くないもん。それでね、水星なんだっ
は？
て。だから、水星、星、マーキュリー。オッケー？
何が？
Kasumi confusing remarks pretty much made a question mark pop up above my head.
それのデザイン。お店の人が言ってたけど、太陽系の縮図なんだって。もう一回見てみ。ね？そんな感じでしょ？
まあ、言われてみれば。
I thought the pendant's ornament was a wheel, gear, or perhaps a clock, but on closer inspection I realized that it was indeed the solar system, with 9 planets and circling the center.
だからそれに合わせて、9種類のタイプがあるんだって。それはその水星バージョン。
へえ。
It wasn't the latest model, seeing how Pluto was still there, but I got the idea. I fiddled around a bit with the Mercury version around my neck. Wasn't Pluto actually taken back into the solar system, actually? I feel I read it was. Well.
でも、なんで俺に水星なんだ？
ぴったりだから。
どこが？
And recall making friends with Mercurians. As I passed over the issue, Kasumi made a snort, like she was hot stuff.
まず時間にうるさい。すぐ逃げる。足が速い。そして意外に手も速い。水星はね、盗賊と旅人の星なんだって。あんたちょうどそんな感じ。
Well. Was she trying to insult me?
私に内緒ですぐどっか行っちゃうとことか。自覚してる？
一応。
なんか距離置いてる感じに透かしてて、ちょっと感じ悪いのは？ シロと微妙に怪しかったり、
おい、
私をすぐのけ者にしたり、
それは、
何か悩んでるくせに教えてくれない？ちょっとだけ悔しいよ。
かすみ。
What had got into her all of a sudden? How much did she?
ねえレン、私はあんたの味方だよ。辛い時は頼ってほしいな。けど強いんだぜ、私って。
知ってるよ。
Regardless, there was no way she could match them. And not just her. No one, not Himura or anyone, not even the police, could do anything to those freaks. So what the hell was I doing in a place like this?
私はレンの力になりたいよ。忘れないでほしいな、そこんところ。だからね、それは戒めなの。勝手にいなくなるなよ、旅人さん。
She proceeded to finish the sentence by pounding her chest. I could have sworn she said something similar just the other day.
シロがさ、あいつがいなくなっちゃって、その上、あんたまでいなくなったら、私辛いし。つまり、これはそういうことなんですよ。いやー、なんか恥ずかしいね、こういうの。
Seeing Kasumi make that bitter ember smile hurt, forcing me to instinctively glance away from her. Maybe I didn't have any right to say those kind of things. As for why? No, don't think about it. I would never get her involved with all that. I had to put on an act. I knew that by all rights I should have avoided getting close to anyone in particular at this time. But...
約束、するよね。
I couldn't just reject Kasumi here. I felt hesitant to completely discard the last remaining point of contact I had with my normal day-to-day life. That kind of reliance on others was endlessly pathetic of me. I was a human, not one of them. Kasumi was the one who allowed me to believe that, but if I let go of her, I wouldn't be able to ever turn. I wouldn't be able to feel the sunlight ever again. Last time I was made keenly aware of my idiocy, stupidity, and foolishness was that... was that incident with Shira.
俺は、
As a man, I had to do everything I could to put on a brave face for a woman.
レン？
I felt dizzy and nauseous, my vision slanted and blacked out. I felt intoxicated. To call it a daydream wouldn't do it justice. I could feel the fatigue expelling from my body as I began to faint. Shit, I had to...
おかえり。
I felt the same as I did on the day of that nightmare. And it had to be now of all times.
また会えたね、カリオストロ。
Hey? As the melodic voice of the girl filled my ears, my consciousness faded out. Cagliostro. Now then. Let us momentarily chance upon one another at the boundary of dreams. At Woodbeach, a closed world eternally frozen in time between a sun and a sea of glittering gold. No one existed here. The ones who reside in this perpetually frozen space were neither humans nor were they even alive. Were they dead then? Was being bereft of life the requirement to linger in this world? Nay, even the dead would flux, change, wear away and fade. If so, she who resided here remained an everlasting, unchanging nil. Existing, yet not existing. A contradiction, yet as a result, a being eternal, one outside the boundaries of providence. A heretic from birth, ostracized and isolated for her deeds. Endlessly sinful, a pitiable, accursed girl. All qualities that made her beautiful. A divine, shunned child clad in gold, befitting this isolated realm. A senile, dazzling omen of calamity. She.
やあ、また会えたね、マルグリット。
Such was her name.
今度の旅はどうだった？お土産話を聞かせてほしいの。あなたが見てきた世界の話を。今でもあなたは旅を続けているんでしょ？
ああ、そして君は 今でも歌っているのだね。
Isn't this, the guy? The second one? The being who addressed the blonde-haired girl was Enigma incarnate, like a shadow graph riddled with holes. If one had to present a suitable parallel, the tattered cloak he wore made his resemble a messenger from the netherworld itself. His features denied distinction between man and woman. In actuality, this being had no face to begin with. He had no purpose, no individuality, one who merely crowned himself with one of the countless designations to be used as a name. It lacked one that permanently defined him.
寂しくはなかったかい？ずいぶん一人にさせてしまった。私を恨んでいるだろ
う。ただ、怖かった。もうあなたに会えないかもって思っていたから。また会えるって、また会おうって、あなたは言ってくれたことがないのよ。知ってる？
そうだったかね。それはすまない。私は流浪の癖がついてしまって、その手の習慣を遠くに忘れてきたのだろうな。許してほしい。それで、謝罪の後に頼み事をするというのも、いささか恥知らずな話なんだが。
歌でしょ？
ああ、よければここで聞かせてくれないか。私もまた、君のために些細な遊びを用意した。陳腐だが、それなりに手間と時間をかけたのだよ。以前王妃様にお見せしたパリのオペラにも劣らないほど。
Quismange de la Bruchier, the girl's companion declared it in a celebratory tone.
あの時彼女がそう言ってくれたように、歌劇の始まりを君に飾ってほしいんだ。
カリオストロ、何を言っているのかわからないよ。私は王妃なんかじゃないって知ってる？
無論君はあれよりも上等だよ。長年にわたるさすらいを振り返っても、未だ君を超える美は知らない。
私は誰にもそんなことを言われないのに。
しかり、それゆえにだよ。誰も彼もが君を恐れ、憎み、直視をためらい、忌避を選ぶ。なぜか。それは君の美しさに絶望し、己の矮小さを認めたくないがためだよ。人は理解不能なものを悪と呼び、恐怖するようにできている。くだらん。実にくだらんね。そんな保身や虚栄を大義に、一体どれだけの輝きが失われてきたと思うかね。それは私が最も嫌う行いなのだよ。聞いてほしい、マルグリット。忌まわしき罰当たり後、神の呪いを受けし君。私はその美を信仰している。ぜひ、我がオペラの主賓となっていただきたい。見返りとして、君の呪縛を私が立って差し上げよう。以前の旅で、とある友人ができたのだ。とても強く、恐ろしく、地獄の塊のような男だが、彼もまた、ある意味で美しい。その力を貸してもらう約束を、私はすでに取り付けているのだから。
彼？それは怖い人なの？
ああ、怖い。とてもとても、誰よりもね。私が今まで会った中でも、あれほど凄まじいのは見たことがないほどだよ。まるで、愛すべからざる光の君。我が生涯唯一の盟友だ。遠からず彼はゲットを抜けるだろう。ならばこそ、君の呪いも解けるはずだ。聞かせてくれ、マルグリット。君はこのまま永遠に、ここで歌い続けたいのか？
わからない。でも、ここを出て何があるの？
それは私が答えるべきことではないよ。旅に出たいのか出たくないのか、知りたいのか知りたくないのか。もっとも君が望むなら、私はあの太陽すら落としてみせるつもりなのだが。
近、あなた以外の人がここに来るの。あれは誰？その人がやってくるとね、少し気持ちが良くなるの。なんでだろう。わからないけど。
首をはねられても死なぬからではないのかな。私といえども君に触れては無事に済まぬよ、マルグリット。だが彼は違うのだろう。君のつがい、あれを作り上げるのには苦労した。意中の女性へ捧げる贈り物としてなかなかいい出来であると自負しているがね。あの首飾り、身につけてみたいとは思わんかね。とても似合うと思うのだが。答えを急ぎすぎたかな。では質問を変えよう。君はあれにまた会いたいと思っているかね。会って話したいとわずかながらでも思うかね。
わからない。でも
気にはなると。よろしい、承諾したよ、マルグリット。ならば歌を歌いたまえ。甘く切なく思い人を求める歌を。記念すべき第一幕は悲恋の物語にしようじゃないか。
私、歌は一つしか知らないのよ。それでもいいの？
構わない。むしろそうでなくては意味がない。さあマルグリット、聞かせてくれ。今よりオペラを始めよう。もう変わり映えのない永遠など続けていく意味はあるまい。
そうすれば楽しくなる？
楽しませよ
約束できる？
約束しよう、アレッサンドロ・ディ・カリオストロ。君にそう名乗ったもののすべてにかけて。
Eric ran along the shade, almost as if it was laughing. Two snakes stretched from its right hand and began twined in a difficult to describe, otherworldly shape that could very well be a staff or a sword.
さあザラトゥストラ、我らが愛しの君がお望みだ。
Ooh, I know where this is going. Maybe. The being raised its hands like a conductor as the girl began her song. His cloak then expanded to infinity, covering sky, sea, and sun alike in darkness. Night descended upon the shore of eternal twilight, and the clocks of frozen time began to stir once more. With it, words like a spell chanted reverberated across that gradually blackening realm. Verum est sinem mendatio certum est verissimum. So this a truth like no other, one that stands above all else, banishing all remnants of doubt. Quod est inferius et sicut ist, quod est superius. For they who stand at the top differ in no way from those at the bottom. Et quod est superius est sicut in quod est inferius. And indeed those that dwell below are much like they who soar above. Ad perpetranda miracula rei unius. In the end they all exist for but a single purpose, to erect the foundation of a miracle. He was Ahasver, the wandering Jew, he of many names, and of all life-spanning aeons. The shade-like spell weavers, voiceless recital endured. Recital actually.
これより今宵のグランギニョルを始めよう。
Grand Guignol, you say. Sprinting, dashing at impossible speed, far surpassing the limit of high power output exhibitable by living beings. The fastest animal land was the cheetah at 120 km per hour, but this was still going 3 to 5 times faster than that. That swift, raging hell of a being soared faster than the naked eye could follow, ultimately looking invisible when viewed through the filter of common sense. Despite its human experience, the being's sheer speed would no doubt make anyone reconsider whether or not to call it human. and it was merely running fast. Okay. If left, blossoming flowers of blood in its wake, wielding an invisible blade with a range of several dozen meters that slaughtered all living creatures in its path. None were spared. Men and women, the young and old, animals and children. All were indiscriminately massacred using the exact same method. Decapitation. That whirling of death was like a giant guillotine beheading all in its path. Her arms spread like wings would slay all those caught in their embrace. For this was the weapon, but an instrument existing only to execute. Created for the sole purpose of killing. It had no other role. A weapon's essence could shift depending on the wielder's intentions, yet this one remained unchanged due to its sheer simplicity, its identity the same as in anyone's hands. As such, to find it so thoroughly well pierced in the art of murder was no doubt a natural consequence. However, that being was currently under pursuit. A giant lance-like stake from above blew up a passing car, yet mysteriously enough the anchor pierced by the Teflon pole-sized stake turned to a rusted heap of iron moments before it exploded, its passengers aged into mummies before they could even burn to death. Standing up the stake, thrust into the ground like a gravestone, was a man with fluttering long hair and a face as pale as grave wax. A system of strong vein lines rushed up the stake and spread throughout the man's body from his feet. He absorbed it all. Gasoline, water, blood, all the nutrients of the stake's victims, as well as the souls they required to function. Wilhelm sneered as he watched his prey continue to run without stopping. Yet another stake bore into the asphalt, one that Wilhelm used as footing dashed forward. He was not even half as fast as his prey. Yet despite that, the sheer difference between the length of their steps was enough for the Ivory Demon to rapidly close the distance. Well, I guess he probably knew how to properly run, you know. Basically, just the proper way of using the body. The stance wouldn't do it good here. What's the word I'm looking for? Anywho, there is the way that you can, you know, kind of, you run slower, but, well, you just need proper movement to be fast as someone who runs fast, but without the proper freaking form. The form, exactly what I was looking for. So yeah, the proper form of running just gives you a freaking advantage, okay? Over someone who doesn't have the proper form, anywho. All those dozen or so meter length stakes were growing out of his feet, acting as extensions. Though his own body was the size of an average man, a single step from his could cover a colossal distance. Naturally, he did not look back up on whatever he crushed under his feet, for in Wilhelm's eyes, humans and their creations were equal to mere insects. Not a single murder had occurred this week. The popular spots of the town, adorned by bright lights, attracted many visitors even at such late hour, and now they all indiscriminately fell victim to the guillotine and the stakes. The bridge was stained crimson with blood. Ironically enough, that illuminated carpet of vermilion found not a shred of its radiance tarnished, and instead possessed a ghastly kind of beauty, and then within that landscape something else that could be called both a nightmare and a sick jest occurred. The very earth trembled, a series of profound sounds shaking the very foundation of the bridge. It was a wheel, that was the only way to explain it. That 5-meter wide object chased the being in front of it as its sinister spikes ate into the asphalt. The absurdity and irrationality of the device, moving down humans and cars like bringing them into ruts, could no longer be simply laughed off. The wheel wrapped up in screams and fresh blood as it rotated faster with was a colossal instrument of torture reminiscent of the tools used in the days of the Inquisition. A girl stood atop it like a torturer emerged from the depths of hell. Her tone carried a mix of joy, excitement, and scarlet cajolery.
あなたはいつもそうやって私たちを見下してるのね。未だに自分が上だとでも思っているつもりかしら。
After she wheezed out her next words.
いいわ、私が試してあげる。 追いかけっこを続けましょう。ただしまがいものだったらただじゃ済まさないからね。
The Naxxrater spread out in all directions from the trucks left behind by the wheel. It covered the bridge in flesh and devoured every last corpse and wrecked car, leaving nothing behind. The act was absurd and extreme beyond belief, silencing all witnesses and destroying the evidence in a single sweep of one-sided genocide. Indeed, once the scale reached that level of absurdity, any man of common sense would be hard-pressed to label this phenomenon as anything other than inexplicable.
お前も毎度ご苦労だな。細かすぎると老けるぜ、マレウス。
そう思うなら少しは気を使ってほしいわね。
The Crimson Witch and the Ivory Knight continued to lay waste to the streets, spreading carnage while concealing everything in their path. In sharp contrast to those extremely lurid acts, their conversation was one of a graceful stroll. One inhuman being pursuing the other, common sense had long since breathed its last, with all those bound by its dead. But its dead, it felt more like a step into another dimension. From the very air that breathed to the smallest speck of dust on the ground, the place had transformed into a battlefield of supernatural entities commanded by rules far removed from the shackles of the ordinary. The two pair of eyes, each glimmering in a weak light, finally closed in enough to perceive their target's back.
追いついたぜ。そこ動くなよ。
ちょっと痛いけど我慢しなさい。
On that order, a stake about as wide as an adult's waistline shot out of Wilhelm's right palm like a cannonball, while a bundle of chains armed with rivets jetted out of Rusalka's shadow all at once. Would their target be skewered, or would they be caught and ripped in two? Naturally, they did not believe this would be enough to finish their prey off. They were up against a substitute of Mercurius, their former vice commander. Even if their prey made a mistake, it probably wouldn't be enough to kill. And then, if said prey could actually be taken out this easily, it would have been completely useless to their purpose to begin with. If their prey was going to die, it would do well to die fast. They would never allow powerless, inferior scum to be part of the glorious Obsidian Round Table. In that sense, all of their attacks were dead serious. They were still on yet 0 degree, a level below their true power. Other than that, their dance of death remained void of even the tiniest speck of restraint. A normal person would die instantly. An attack from a weaponized Achnerbe would slay all, even spirits without bodies. Humans, demons, gods, it mattered little. They would exterminate all that stood in their path. No method existed that could nullify a strike from an Achnerbe wielded by war demons like them. As such, they anticipated the following. Their prey would survive but would not escape unscathed. Even if it poured its entire being into defense or evasion, their prey would still sustain a grave injury. And when that moment came, the pair would seize the opportunity and capture it. Other than being a tactically sound plan, they most likely had no other way to keep their target alive. However, the last thing I expect was their prey to see two attacks that could certainly kill anything they hit and take them head on without ever even trying to dodge. 200 per swear, without so much as consideration evasion or defense, was an act that went beyond mere recklessness and to the realm of sheer insanity. Who on this planet, Earth, would seriously prioritize wounding the attacker instead of trying to dodge the bullet? However, that counter, bordering on sheer madness, was enough to send Wilhelm and Rusalka flying back a few dozen meters, placing them out of shooting range. Their previous attack ended up being less than effective too. Their target may have been injured, yet that applied to the two of them as well. Unlike their foe, who had prepared for this outcome, they'd taken unexpected damage. In other words, if one were to look at the situation objectively,
やられた。今のはこっちの負けね。
they could no longer catch the target. They'd been given the sleep, no other way to put it.
肉を切らせて骨を断つか。あんまり好きな思考じゃないわね。この国の価値観に毒されちゃったのかしら。どう思う？
知るかよ。
That's what you get for looking down on someone, I guess. Maybe you are overestimating yourself, guys. Hehe. Wilhelm's begrudging tone and the manner hid very little of his rage at being humiliated.
追うぞマレウス。野郎も無傷じゃねえ。 今夜中に片付けてやる。
分かってるわよ。こんな目に遭わされて黙ってられるものですか。
An injury inflicted by the Irrationality was no ordinary wound. The concepts accumulated within them over countless years turned both into curse and a little venom. In fact, its sting was even more effective against wretched foes like them. Rusalka's face warped into a wry smile.
痛いわ。私泣いてしまいそうよ。ねえベイ、あなたもそうでしょ。こんな痛い思いなんてこの60年してなかったからどうしていいかわからないわよ。
Oh, you know, you are too old for me, sorry.
ああ、痛いよな。だがよ、マレウス。お前は嬉しくならないか？
Now that I think about it, how the hell that armband they have is still on their freaking arm? Isn't it, like, too lightly put on there? I mean, come on. How is it still flying there? I mean, I feel like it can only fly because it's not attached anywhere at all. A long-forgotten sensation. It may have felt good to effortlessly slaughter thousands, but this was the true essence of waging war. They felt the tension and exultation that only a battle to the death, with each side's entire being on the line, could offer. After having gone so long without a worthy opponent, they appeared to have almost forgotten what it meant to put their lives on the line. The glamour and glory of the battlefield, the spark of a dying flame following a clash of souls. The sheer beauty and ecstasy of it all. How grateful they felt to be once again reminded of it. Okay, probably once again, but never mind. Even scorching pain would be a nectar most sweet to them.
感じさせてもらおうぜ。まだ始まったばかりじゃねえか。
Well, 24 minutes to 3 AM, so I guess so.
そうよねベイ。まさかあの子だとは思わなかったけど。
Welcome to Rusalka, who had already gotten used to opening their so-called third eyes, a type of vision differing from normal sight. During each battle, could easily discern a person's identity without even looking at their face by examining the color of their soul. Furthermore, the color they spotted in vivid detail was one of sinister magic, with a series of vicious and indiscriminate slashes being launched in all directions from its epicenter.
発動箇所は体の末端。射程は20メートル弱で近いほど威力が上がる。典型的な融合型の力任せね。パッと見はあなたに似てるわ。
でもそれだけじゃねえだろうよ。野郎のエイビヒカイトは一人だけ趣旨が違う。なんせ本家本元だからな。まあどのみち捕まえればはっきりするか。行こうぜ。
Welcome to Rusalka commenced their pursuit once again, their regenerating wounds emitting a red smoke. No trace remained of the carnage and destruction that took place upon the bridge. The dozen of citizens killed tonight would no doubt be dismissed as simply having gone missing. Normal people by nature couldn't hope to comprehend inhuman principles. And so... nor could they understand its suffering. Alright, I guess... this thing is a little different, so let's end this episode here. After the chase. Over 1 hour, so it's fine. Anywho, in the next one, we'll see where this is going, and... well, I'm kind of curious what will be going on with the... Margarita. Right? That was her name, right? So basically... well, what's about her concretely? I need to know. And yeah. So yeah, for now, hope you enjoyed it and see you tomorrow in the next one. Let's keep it short. Bye bye.